that. So basically spent the last a few years after that doing a lot of research, a lot of learning, and ended up starting a business called Autonomate. So where we do kind of intelligent business automation.
Okay, so let me just fire some questions at you then. To begin with, as a leader, how do you know when it's right time to start implementing AI or automation?
So I'm going to be quite controversial and say that sometimes it's not the right time, and sometimes it's not the right thing to do. And actually, what you need to do is understand your business and your overall strategy and see where AI and automation fits within that. Um, People might think that because of what I do, that I'm always going to say you should absolutely go head first, straight into it. But as we were saying actually before everyone else joined the call, AI and automation to a certain extent are just tools within a business. So just like it may not be the right time or the right thing to do to install something like a CRM system into the business at a particular time, AI and automation may also not be the right thing to do at the time. But what you need to understand more than anything is what your overall strategy in the business is. And only then do you start to look at it and say, okay, where are the bottlenecks? Where are the pain points? Could automation or AI be a way of making this better?
Okay, so what are the biggest mindset shifts leaders need to make when thinking about AI and automation?
Okay, so I think probably the biggest one is about being open-minded. I go to a lot of meetings where someone's maybe played with something. Let's talk about ChatGPT because everyone's heard of it and probably tried it or used it. They've tried it and they've played with it and they've done a couple of things with it and it hasn't really they're not that impressed with it, or they're very defensive about what they do and their business and things like that. And you come across things like, well, it will never replace what we do, or this is not going to help us in any way whatsoever, which I think is the wrong mindset. I think really what you want to have is a mindset of openness and change, where you can look at it and say, well, okay, how could our business change if we were to use this? There's this concept of zero-based thinking. There's a fantastic article that someone sent me a week or so ago, and it says the biggest mind shift is actually saying, if I was to knock my entire business down to the ground, flatten it, and start it all up again from scratch, what would it look like with AI and automation at the forefront? And a good example of that is looking at a company, I know it's a bit of a dirty word at the moment, but looking at a company like Tesla, whether we like them or not, they have taken the car industry and the car business and built it from the ground up, which is very difficult for existing companies to compete with because they have their processes, they have their systems. But the mindset of what would it look like if we were to do this differently and being able to change. And off the back of that, I would also say that within your businesses and organizations, you will already have people who think like that. And those are the people that I would encourage to get their ideas and their thoughts, because they're already thinking, further ahead.
Okay, then, but how can leaders cut through the hype and focus on meaningful long-term implementation?
So this is the biggest challenge I think that most of the leaders and businesses that I speak to are facing. So there is so much noise out there at the moment. I'm in this world. I've been in it for the last kind of 3 or 4 years as a business, and the acceleration now over the last really year or so it's exhausting. There is so much changing. I'm in a lot of groups and part of a lot of forums, and just trying to keep up with what's happening is exhausting. So if that's me who's in this world, I imagine what it must be like and what people tell me who are outside of this world, who are just in normal businesses. So the way to stay on track, not end up spending a lot of money on the wrong thing or getting distracted by shiny stuff, is to have some type of, I call it a roadmap or a strategy. Think of it like a business plan. And by doing that, you have your goal, where you're trying to get to. You have the steps and the measures that you're trying to that you're using to kind of guide you on that track. And it means that as all this other cool shiny stuff's happening, and the newest thing from Google or the latest thing from OpenAI, or the new update on the software that you use in your business, it allows you to measure those things against what your overall strategy is. So really, you need to understand where you're going, and that will keep you on track.